I have a room full of people with me.
Hello.
This is my daughter.
Hi. How was Hawaii? Yeah, that good, eh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. I saw your pictures.
So while
my nieces are in here and my son is in here, so it's
we are the most organized people today.
Super organized.
So our questions are going to range from each chapter of the book.
Yeah.
And we've got questions.
They're doing a pre-show on Instagram for the people who've already logged in.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they're giving people a rundown and suggesting that they have the book handy.
Yeah. And telling jokes.
All right, we've got 1 minute to go.
So 1 minute, be sure to get over there at like.
She has leadership skills.
Oh, great. We should just let her do the whole book club.
I know, we should just run it through them. They've got it under control.
Yeah.
Where does these pages start?
Just put them at the end of the chapters. They each have the right chapter on them.
The end of the chapters?
Yeah, because I need the information on the last page of the chapter. The girls helped me by taking my questions out of the book for me.
Good job, girls. Well done.
Yeah, so now they have to put them back.
Is there one question 2 and 3?
Nope.
Chapters 2 and 3? All right.
Only if they're on there.
So.
All right, do you have anyone logged in on the Zoom yet other than me?
Not yet, not that I can see.
Okay.
So it is good. It's starting in.
Okay, well, shall we just, what time is it? Oh, it's only just now 7. It's okay.
Yeah, we'll give everyone like a couple of minutes just to join in.
It's starting in 4 minutes.
1 minute.
1 minute. Starting in 1 minute. So get over there.
You guys are brilliant.
And everything. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to see anything.
Yeah, this is true. You tell everyone.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to do anything over there if you're not logged in. So you got 1 minute to do it. 1 minute. We'll wait. Yeah, we're waiting. Log in, please. All right. She is still looking for the chapters.
Hi, Victoria. It was nice to meet you today.
And we'll pass you over to my mom.
All right. Hello. I've got a few people on Instagram.
Excellent.
So hopefully if you are joining us, that you are either familiar with Girl Wash Your Face or are interested in it. If you're not familiar, we have the book here. Can I show them what the book's like? Thank you, monkeys. Voila. Girl Wash Your Face. There we go.
Yep.
They're very possessively holding on to my book. I'm hoping that you guys, if you're joining us, are interested. We have started RF Empower, and this is Siobhan from RF Empower. We've decided to join together to discuss a personal growth, personal development books. And this way we can do book club without having to try and all be in the same place, because there are people all over the place who are all interested in books. So ideally, once a month, we will come together to discuss a book that was picked at the beginning of the month. We will have questions for you, and we will run the whole thing, usually not with an army of children necessarily, but I can't promise that it will always happen without them. And so right now we're just waiting for some people to join us on the Zoom, because we're doing through the Zoom Hangouts, so you can do free online conferences, and Siobhan has kindly created a link for us. So as soon as we get a couple of people on there, we are going to get started.
What's that beeping?
I think it's this game.
Oh.
Sorry. If you're going to be playing that, please, can you take it in another room? Thank you.
Sorry, that was just Mr. Cantaloupe.
Yes, the children are not allowed to use their actual names, so they've given themselves all fruit names.
Watermelon. Strawberry. Grape. I'm Mrs. Grape. She's Mrs. Strawberry. Mr. Cantaloupe just left the room. And, well, he's in the closet. I'm Mr.
Oh, and Mr. Apple has recently joined us.
Yes.
Wow. We have like a full fruit bowl going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can call ourselves the Fruit Bowl group.
Yeah, or a fruit salad.
They are definitely a fruit salad, that's for sure. Or fruit cakes.
Fruit
Yeah,
cakes.
fruit cakes, yeah.
Fruit sponge cake.
Maybe he doesn't want to be on the screen.
Well, you know what? If we have people on Instagram.
Okay.
So shall we?
Well, then let's get started with the people on. It's okay. It's okay. I don't need all of them. All right. So, Siobhan, did you want to get started kind of explaining what we're doing?
For sure. So how we're going to do this, for everyone who's just joining us, tonight we're discussing Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. And what we decided we would do is we'd go through some of the main topics that Rachel talks about in her book. So when Kaylee and I were discussing how we were going to approach tonight, we decided that a few of the chapters actually cover similar types of questions and topics and concerns that women and people have in general. So we thought we'd try and merge some of the chapters together in our discussion, because there's no way we're going to get through every single chapter in an hour, for those of you who've read the book. So we've picked a few chapters that resonated with us for various different reasons, and that's not because the other chapters aren't great. It's just, time constraints. We want to just focus on the ones that we thought were important to us, but we want to get you guys all interacting and sharing what you think about the chapters too.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Got you.
Oh no. Mute us here.
Yeah, you can totally mute us. That's fine, Jesse.
No, I gotta mute myself.
It's normally on the bottom of the screen. If you touch the screen, it's normally on the bottom. There's a little red button. I love this. I love the fact that we have like a huge audience of small people.
I know. We're
Sorry.
It was great.
I've got an armload of kids also, so.
Yeah, Kaylee has like an entire school class going on at her place right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Kaylee, do you want to kick us off with the first few chapters?
All right, assuming my niece will hand over my book, so I can get.
Done.
The
first few chapters I haven't done yet.
It's okay. I'll just start at the beginning. Okay. So the first couple of chapters that we have, if you haven't read the book yet, just a quick,
What is this supposed to
I don't know.
just random?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
So if you haven't read the book before, she starts each chapter off with, she calls it the lie. And then she talks about a lie that she once believed, and how she came to overcome it, tips that she's used. So one of the things that the first few sections deal with are, we're doing the goal setting one is the first one, right? Or was, yeah. So there's a few chapters, for example, the goal setting where it's something else will make me happy, or I'll start tomorrow, or so thank you. When she says, for example, in the first chapter, she says, or in the chapter 2, when she's talking about breaking promises to herself, where it's like, you make a plan, you're going to do it, you plan to do something, but then you constantly give up. You don't make it past the first, okay, I'm going to try this. And she talks about how she goes about not, okay, it's good, just please stop, just stop, just, okay, because I can't. They're right here. Okay.
Multitasking mum here. Multitasking mum here.
Yeah.
And auntie.
So, okay, so she's talked about how if you were with a friend of someone and they constantly bailed on you to do other things, or they gave up too easily, would you continue to trust them as somebody to make plans with? And what we do and tend to do as women, or I guess probably as men, however, I have no experience with that, is that we tend to say, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm really excited to get started working out or get started on, I don't know, the keto diet or something. And then when it comes to Monday, you say, oh, I'm so tired, and you give up on yourself before you've even had a chance to start. So one thing she discusses is how if you break promises to yourself, how will you ever officially set a goal, move through a goal, get ahead? Did anybody else find that kind of resonated with them, that they find that they make goals, they make plans? Another part of it was that you get together with your friends and you do a bunch of mind mapping and you say, oh, wouldn't it be great if we had such and such? Wouldn't it be great if we started a business doing this? And then you never do anything and you never get further, but all you do is make great ideas. But ideas are not goals, they're not plans unless they actually get put into action. So one of the questions she kind of had is, why is it that we set big goals but don't ever get around to actually doing them?
I'll start if you want.
All right, thank you.
I am the world's best planner and the world's worst executioner. I love to plan. I love lists. I mean, I have like a pile of to-do lists out here. My other computer screen next to us is actually not working anymore because it's covered in to-do lists of Post-it notes. Yeah, I don't know if I can actually show you it. Maybe I should. It's kind of entertaining. It's actually kind of ridiculous. But here we go. Let's see if you guys. Apologies for you guys all seeing my kitchen, but there you go. It's actually covered in yellow Post-it notes. And I think part of it is that I really enjoy the planning stage, but don't necessarily actually like doing the work that it requires to turn that plan into something. Yeah. And it's taken me a number of years to realize that that's actually what I'm doing. And part of it is that I'm not really committed to the plan in the first place. So now I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to plan to do something, do I really want the end result, or am I just enjoying the planning phase? You know, I love to plan for holidays, but do I really want to go on that holiday? Do I really want to go to Manitoba? Not if anyone's from Manitoba, I apologize. There's nothing wrong with Manitoba. But, you know, if somebody says to me, hey, you know what, you can go to LA or Hawaii, I'm there. Like, I'm planning that trip and I'm gone. But when it's somewhere that doesn't seem as exciting and as enticing, then I don't follow through on the plan and I just sort of bail off. So I found that I really need to commit to that plan and to the end goal in the very first instance, and then keep going and hold myself accountable in some way, because I know I'm going to get sidetracked and be like, ooh, next shiny object, let's go over here.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. I don't know if anyone else has something to add to that.
You guys can just be like, I'm good. I like listening to you. You guys are awesome and slightly weird, but that's okay because we're all weird together. Yeah. So it's fun.
Yeah, so I think for me too, one of the things is that I have a tendency to get panicky. Like, it'll be like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But then it comes down to it and I look at the cost of something, or I look at the effort involved, or I look at the fact that there's a really good chance that I won't do well and it will fail. And I freak out and I immediately start hibernating under my quilt with a cup of coffee and some books. And I sit there going, nope, 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 not going to do it, not going to do it. It has nothing to do with me. And then a month and a half later, when people are like, I thought you were writing a book, I can just say, oh, yeah, I am. It's on my laptop somewhere. And then I just like carry on with my life and come up with some other grand plan. But it is, like you said, it's fun to come up with plans, but when it comes down to it, it's not even like, I had a conversation with my sister about this where it was like, I can say, well, maybe I don't want it enough, which is what I thought at first. But the other thing is that sometimes you want it so much that you're afraid that you're going to screw it up and you just freak out and it's like, I can't do this. I'm not doing it. It's done. Does anyone else have that? And I feel like that kind of segues into the next bunch of chapters that we had. And Siobhan, did you want to talk about the imposter syndrome?
Sure. So in chapter 3, Rachel calls it the lie, I'm not good enough, which I summarize to be the imposter syndrome. And I've lived with that my entire life. And in fact, every day I'm like, how did I get here? Why are these people listening to me every single day? So in my day job, I'm actually a lawyer. I work in a very, very male-dominated industry within the legal industry. And every single day I sit in boardrooms and I'm the only woman in there. And the whole time I'm like, oh my God, if I say something, they're going to know I'm not supposed to be in this room. They're going to throw me out because, well, for one thing, I'm not wearing pants. I'm in a dress normally because I don't know why, I just wear a dress for work. And I was like, oh God, they're going to notice. I'm a girl, like my hair's long. They're going to notice that I'm in the wrong spot and that I don't look like the rest of them. But you know what? I got there for a reason. I just can never remember what the reason was that got me there. But I've been able to get into the room for a reason. And, you know, I have value, but I have to constantly overcome that feeling of I'm in the wrong place. And if I say something, they're going to realize I'm in the wrong room and kick me out and throw me back like in the kitchen or on the reception desk. But actually, you know what? I went to school like everybody else. Like I deserve to be in the room, but I forget that. Yeah. So I think, you know, that I don't think I'm the only person who struggles with this. I think a lot of people do in society because Rachel goes on to talk later on in the book, and she actually talks about I'm a bad mum, which is like in chapter 8. Now, I don't have children, so I can't relate to this to being a mum, but I replaced every time she said the word mum with woman or with wife or daughter, you know, or friend. And it's so true because she asked the question, like, how do you deal with society's pressure? How do you deal with comparison to other people? How do you deal with that image that social media puts out there and the press puts out in general, and TV and movies and books about what the ideal person of whatever that person is supposed to be like? And then I suffer from FOMO. So I suffer from that complete desire that the grass is always greener on the other side and that person's having a better time than I am. And why, if I'm struggling to like know my identity, to be in that room that I've gone to school for like 9 years so I can be in that room, but I still feel like I shouldn't belong. But then at the same time, like I hear about other friends who are lawyers and doctors who are in the room and doing amazing. Like they have amazing careers. And I have friends who, they're like, the best executive administrator I've ever seen in my life, and they run that place like a machine. I'm like, wow, their lives are so great. Why is my life not great? Why am I doubting myself all the time? And there's that balance that we as human beings, as people, have to try and work out. How do we deal with that? How do we deal with those pressures? How do we deal with that self-doubt in our own heads and that imposter syndrome? And those 2 chapters in particular resonated for me unbelievably, because that, I think, is what I struggle with on a day-to-day basis, like every single meeting I go into. And then every time I'm on social media, I'm like, oh yeah, I should be like that person. Like I need that dress. It would make me better because I have that dress.
Yeah.
I don't know why a dress is going to make me better. And I don't know why, because it's really not. It's just a dress.
But it feels in the moment like that's what you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, buying the dress does not help. I tried that. It didn't make me feel better. So that wasn't the answer. It was, and I'm still struggling with this, so I'm not saying this is the ultimate answer for me, and it definitely won't be the answer for everybody listening today or who reads this book, because we all have our own journey and it's all different for everybody. But I definitely had to just start with like a mantra. It sounds so hippie and ridiculous that I say this. But I literally have a mantra that when I walk into the room, I'm like, I belong, I belong, I belong, I belong. And then I walk into the toilet before every meeting. And have you ever seen that TED talk where the woman talks about your body posture and how you stand and hold yourself actually helps you in presenting yourself to people? Well, she believes that we should all do the Superman pose before we go into a meeting.
The power pose?
The power pose. So she believes that we should all stand there with our hands on our hips. And now you guys can only see like this much of me. You should stand on your hips with your feet at least shoulder width apart and be like, I'm strong, I am powerful, I belong. And it's ridiculous, but 3 minutes of standing in front of a mirror and looking at yourself looking like an idiot, like Superman in the mirror, actually does kind of work, or at least it works for me, because it does make you hold yourself and breathe and relax in some way.
Do you find that it gets easier over time, or that it has been getting easier for you over time? It's just really interesting to hear your description.
Definitely, I now have this process that I do, and doing the process, I feel like less of an idiot standing in front of the mirror doing it, and I definitely go in with slightly more confidence. I wouldn't say I'm like 100% like, yes, I rock this, I'm the best person in this room, but I definitely feel like I've got less of that imposter syndrome, and I actually find myself speaking more and starting the conversations off more than I used to. So it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel that I'm starting to see the changes in a positive way for me. But there are still days where I am crippled with anxiety of walking into some of those meetings, especially because the average age of my clients is 60. So that's, almost double my age, not quite, but almost double my age. And these people are really well respected in their fields. And I'm like the baby in the room. So it definitely does take a lot of like, deep breath, walk in, you can do this. But actually reading the book and even just being part of the Canadian tribe on Facebook is really sort of like helped my confidence. Personally, and helped me with that imposter syndrome, because I realize I'm not the only one who's suffering from it. Other people are talking about it and asking these kind of questions, and people are giving their tips and tricks and how they're trying to manage the process. So yeah.
I think that kind of also rolls into the next block of chapters that we had thought to talk about, is the I'll be happy if, I'll be better at this if, where like I have a lot of friends who are like, well, when I lose, or if I lose 50 pounds, then I'll be happy. If I get this promotion, then I'll be happy. Well, I feel like she talks quite a lot in the book about how there's a lot of time that you're working towards that eventuality. So if you're only going to allow yourself to be happy on the day that you break 125 pounds on the scale, that your boss says to you, hey, you've got the promotion, or your boyfriend proposes to you, or you find out you're pregnant, or whatever, if that's the only time that you're going to allow yourself to be happy, then you have got a long life of exhaustion and misery ahead of you. And I feel like she talks a lot about how you set these goals and you have this desire in your life, and you, like, for example, she talked about that Speedy bag that she was absolutely crazy. She really wanted a Louis Vuitton Speedy bag, and when she got that, she would feel like she was super successful. But she didn't wait until she held that bag in her hand to allow herself to be proud of herself. She was like working towards it and envisioning herself at that point. And I feel like that's something that goes along with the imposter syndrome, where we say, I will feel confident in this meeting if I get a haircut, or if I lose 50 pounds, or as soon as these guys start treating me like I'm not here to go get the coffee, I will feel better. Well, the only time they're going to stop treating you like you're there to get the coffee is when you stop offering to go and get the coffee. If you sit down and you participate, as Siobhan was saying, in the conversation, and you go, no, my 9 years of schooling means that I'm a lawyer and I am not here just to deliver your coffee. Well, that's when they'll stop treating you that way. So you have to start, the best way that I can think of, and that she kind of discusses in the book, is in order to get to the point where you feel you belong, is to start acting like you do, even if you don't feel it.
Yeah, which I've heard the term "fake it till you make it." I don't know
Yeah.
if people have heard that, and I know that some people don't agree with that because, you know, faking it is not really doing it. But sometimes you almost have to trick your brain into believing that you can do it and that you belong in that space. And if that's what faking it looks like, then by the time you come out of that situation, for me it's in meetings, but for other people it's, you know, going to brunch with a bunch of strangers, which Kaylee and I did today. And
Yeah.
you know, as Kaylee said herself, she was like, this is the most terrifying thing I've done in forever, is sitting in a restaurant at like Cactus Club, you know,
Mhm.
a table full of people she'd never met before. And you know what? She faked it like she was a pro, and she was not looking terrified at all. In fact, until she told us that she was terrified, nobody knew she was terrified. So she faked it like a pro on that one. So, you know, there are times when, you know, you can almost trick your brain into being the person you want to be. So I've also been told, you know, dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Now, of course, if you have to wear scrubs to work, that doesn't work because you're wearing scrubs every day. But, you know, if you work in an office environment, for example, you don't want to go in a pair of board shorts, flip-flops, and a tank top if you want a job where you're supposed to, well, where it's, you know, a smarter attire is more appropriate, you know, so you should be wearing, you know, a nice top and a nice pair of trousers or a skirt or something. So, you know, you dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And that takes away that feeling of being an imposter, because you've already been that person. You know, you're already being it every single day when you walk in there, and you're just there doing it. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense to anybody else?
Makes sense to me, but you know.
Does that answer your question though? From before, Rashmi?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I feel like I went off on like a little tangent. So I was like, did I actually answer your question, or did I just like spiral into like oblivion of, you know, randomness on that one?
Well, this is the book, for anyone joining us, that we are discussing today, which is Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. So, hello.
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 Hi. So how about you guys though? So we've talked about a few of the chapters, and we have a few more that we want to like share our thoughts on. But was there anything, like, was there one thing, or were there a few things, or was just the general topic something that spoke to you guys enough that made you want to come on here and tell us your feelings on the book, whether it be good or bad?
Yeah, I agree. Was there like a preferred chapter or section? That's nothing.
Oh, Taze is sending us messages. It's flashing.
I like it.
Nothing to do with having money.
Because I don't know how to use the Zoom thing. Hi, girls.
You got it. There you are.
I was like, I sent message, I raise hand. I'm trying everything. Nice meeting you all. Good to see you.
Good to see you again, Taze.
Yes.
And that's so true. It has nothing to do with having money. It is about owning you and owning your space with it, and then changing your mindset. Totally agree with that. And I think one of the hardest things for all of us, and I think this is what Rachel talks about in the book, is that we do have to change our minds. We have to believe that we are worthy of doing this and we're in the right space and we are doing the right thing. But sometimes it's a lot easier to say that than it is to actually do that every single day. But I know it's something that I've been working on incredibly hard over the last sort of 6 months to a year, is changing that mindset that I have. And the way that I've been approaching that is by actually facing that fear head on and making myself feel incredibly uncomfortable. You know, literally like sweating buckets underneath a suit jacket when I walk into these meetings. And I've pulled apart so many paper clips you would not believe. Because I was told by somebody that when you're doing public speaking, you take a paper clip with you because you can play with it in your hand, but no one sees the paper clip. So anyway, that's my trick I've been using when speaking in public, and literally a paperclip is no longer bent by the time I leave. It's straight or it's completely twisted into a new shape. Tried to make a poodle one day, you know, like one of those blow up balloons.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tried to make that with a paperclip that was like this big. That's how stressed I was, like tying around with it. But you know, but like reading some of these other books, so you know, reading Rachel's book, but reading some of the other books, then, and maybe even some of the books that are still to be read that are on our list for future book and virtual book clubs, are actually, like, for me, helping me change that mindset and change that thinking by realizing and appreciating that I'm not the only person who's feeling this. Lots of people are feeling like this, and so if other people are thinking like this, then it's not unusual. It's completely normal behavior. I'll be back.
So, are there any chapters I know, Jesse, you said that you felt like you liked how the entirety of the book spoke to you post-baby and pre-career change, etc. So what was it about the book? Like, was it like, for me, I felt originally, I really liked the way that Rachel spoke. I really liked the way she wrote. I felt like I could hear myself in a lot of the stuff that she was talking about. Is that kind of where you're going, or you just felt like the book was really, really, it just resonated with you?
No.
No?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Sorry about that. My guest from the UK just arrived. Because, of course, you know, perfect timing and all of that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are. I got you.
Okay, so I guess I can listen with my headphones, but I can't talk with my headphones. I was kind of going through some health issues after I had my baby, so having a lot of anxiety with thyroid and stuff, so I kept thinking, like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Is this postpartum? I don't know. So I've never done any personal development in my life. So reading her book, she's so empowering. She makes you feel like anything you've ever been through, that was before, this is now.
Yeah.
I love her drive for business, and that it's okay to kind of be a shitty mom some days, and it's okay to not be your best. There's always tomorrow.
Yeah. And
I think the best part is how she, like, her Insta stories, her book, everything is live your best life.
Yeah.
If yesterday's not that good, you always have tomorrow. She's so inspiring.
Yeah.
So in its entirety, everything spoke to me in the book. Maybe not so much the adoption process.
Yeah.
I mean, it taught me love, like just how much love there is in the world and stuff. But other than that, like, that whole book was just awesome.
Yeah, I can relate to that too. I found for myself, I also have thyroid condition and chronic illnesses and chronic pain disorder and things like that. So for me, very similarly, where, like, when we spoke about her Bell's palsy. It wasn't something that causes you to stop what you're doing. It's something that you deal with, and yes, it hurts, and yes, you stop for a little bit to feel better, but it's not the end of the world. Did you catch your fly?
No, and it's really sorry. I have a fruit fly and it's flying around my head. But I'm also clapping all of you guys for like telling us all these things.
How do I get to talk? Like, do I put my hand up? How does the order work?
Well, I saw your little hand. I was waiting for you to be like, yeah.
Just talk.
Oops, you're the internet. Okay, so I was just gonna add to Shamani's line about owning ourselves, or fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a preschool teacher, and I have a 6-year-old daughter. So sometimes he said, "Mom, you are not nice," and I said, I am nice. I'm just not being nice right now," and that is totally okay, because I am your mom. So we need to lead by examples. And even though sometimes people say not so good things about us, they're like, no, I am good enough. Like, you might not think that, but again, your opinion about me or your opinion of what I do, it's your business. Like, I know what I'm doing, and I'm gonna stick with it. I don't need, or I try to avoid others people's opinion for validation, because by the end of the day, I'm the one paying my bills. I'm the one doing my dishes. They are not doing it. So why should I bother about what they want or what they think?
Absolutely. And you know what? And that leads exactly into like one of the other chapters that Rachel talks about, where she totally talks about how we shouldn't take on other people's opinions and views of us. And that's, I'm just trying to find which one I noted this down in, so that you know which chapter it was, but it's towards the end.
I think it's the one where she...
Someone else's opinion of you is none of your business.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, but boy, did this hit home with me. Why am I letting someone else's opinion dictate whether I go after my dream or not? And she poses the question, and this goes back to like almost back to the beginning, what dreams are you not pursuing because you're afraid of someone else's opinion of it?
Yeah, and did anyone see her Made for More, the movie?
No.
Or follows the Rise podcast and the Rise Together podcasts?
I followed the podcast, but didn't see the film.
Okay, well, in the Rise Together podcast, not this past week, but the week before, they ran the whole of Dave's keynote speech from Rise, and a bit of it was in the Made for More movie, which is why I brought it up. But he talks about how he spent a lot of his life doing things the safe way, because it would not have people talking negatively about his choices, and how his wife was growing and had the audacity to try new things, and he felt more that it was important to do things that wouldn't cause people to question what he was doing, until eventually he decided that, you know what, your opinion is not, it doesn't matter. I have no, her thing about other people's opinion of you is none of your business. He basically decided that at some point, somebody else's values and somebody else's goals could no longer dictate his own feeling of growth and challenge and satisfaction in his life. And that kind of goes along with that particular chapter.
Yeah.
It got me thinking how like manipulative sometimes the work environment can be, right? So our boss is supposed to encourage you and make you do better, but sometimes they are sabotaging. They're saying, oh, you didn't do this right, but it's not that you didn't do it right. Maybe sometimes they want to take the credit for them to feel not as good, so they will get something in return. So it doesn't happen in just husband and wife relationship or different ages, be status quo as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we are now at 20 minutes, well, probably about 15 minutes from the time we initially logged in. So we want to kind of summarize the discussion, summarize the book, and also give you guys a bit of a heads up about what the next book will be and what the procedure kind of thing will be going forward, because as we've said, this is the first one we've done, so we're hoping to work out a few of the kinks every month and kind of know where we're going with this. Ideally, we're going to stick to kind of personal growth for the next while. Just give everybody this kind of sense of what kind of activity or what kind of book we are going to be focusing on. And right now we're going along with the same idea of Girl Wash Your Face. So yes, anybody, thank you for the book suggestions, because we're going to be, we are starting a group, a Facebook group for this, and we're going to be hopefully having discussions through there throughout the month with questions, and also we'll take suggestions for plan out the next year worth of books so you guys have time to get the book, get a hold of it, and read it. Siobhan, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, so we will send you guys all an invite to the group after this because you guys kindly joined us today.
Yes.
And we totally understand that life happens, right? There are things that are going to happen. Not everybody's going to be able to join us live each month. So what we've been doing is we've been recording this, and then we will put the recording on so that those of you who want to can watch it later and just hear what we had to say. But also we thought a group would be a better idea, because then people could post like their thoughts and opinions as they're reading the book. So it doesn't just have to be like go away, read the book for a month, and then we get together. We can actually talk about things as they come up as well. And we can get that kind of discussion going, and then we can bring all those discussion points together at the end of the month and like recap and bring anything else in that we were thinking about. So hopefully you guys like that format. Please invite any of your friends who you think might find this useful or they might enjoy it. We'd love it, and we know that some books people are going to not like, and that's totally okay. We're not supposed to like every single book that's out there, because every book that's written is written with somebody's thought process in mind, somebody's opinion in mind, and that might not be yours, and that's okay. But it's useful for all of us to read things that kind of expand our boundaries and make us think about things and make us think about why we don't like it. And so the book we're going to do next month, we're going to read Big Magic. Okay, this is by Elizabeth Gilbert. So any of you who read the book or saw the film Eat, Pray, Love, this is the same author. So you guys can get hold of this book. I have my copy now, an actual physical book. I don't know the last time I actually picked up a real book. I'm a bit of a read it on my Kindle the whole time. And by Kindle, I mean I read it on a phone. Big. So my eyesight is dying because I read it on here. But yeah, I'm going to read a real book, and hopefully you guys are going to read it along too, and then you can tell us what you think.
Yes. So,
and we are always looking for other book recommendations. So if you guys have read a book or heard about a book that you think would be something we could read as a group, then we can put that in the list. And I think what we've basically been doing is putting all the book titles in a hat, and our book list is quite it's kind of like this long, but we've basically been putting them all in a hat and just pulling them out is how we've been doing it so far. We'll get a better system and use one of those like Wheel of Fortune type things where it pulls the names out for us at some point. But if a lot of people want to read the same book, then obviously we'll bump that higher up the list so we can all read that book sooner.
Yeah, and if you have any questions on how to get a hold of a particular book, or you're having trouble getting a hold of it, please reach out to us. You can make a note in the group, and we'll see if we can give you a hand through any of our channels to get the book to you, so that you can participate. And honestly, life is short. So if you start reading one of these books and you're like, oh my gosh, I am going to throw this against the wall if I have to read another page, just stop. Honestly, we will not judge you. I have thrown many a book, and I think I was about 15 when I decided I was never going to finish a book that I hated, because there are too many books in this world for that. So you know what? If you get to page 15 of the book and you want to hurl it across the room, just go into the group, say, nope, not for me, and we will totally understand, zero judgment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, on that note, does anyone else have anything else they want to talk about? We have about 50 seconds left before we get cut off for tonight.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I may.
Yeah.
So this book I was really intrigued by, and the reason why I came on today is because when I started researching it, like, this is really high on all the bestseller lists. It's got like 85 holds on it at the library.
Yeah.
It's just like really kind of a big deal book right now. So I was curious as to what you guys thought. Like, why do you think it's such a big deal? There's a lot of books. I mean, there's a lot of books out there that deal with similar themes and things like that. So just curious.
For me, I honestly, I downloaded it on Audible like